they called Mama F a miracle midwife. But every woman she saved came back different. Kamsi was 9 months pregnant, alone, and the village didn't comfort her, they just pointed. Go to Mama F. That night, Kamsi's belly glowed, and her baby's heartbeat sounded like the river. Then she woke up and saw it, wet footprints on the floor, like something had walked in from the swamp. And Mama F? She only smiled, like she'd already been paid. And when Kamsi finally saw what Mama F kept behind her hut, she realized some babies are not the only thing being delivered. The swamp-edge town of Aquagua always woke up slowly. In the early morning, a soft gray mist floated low over the water like a thin blanket. The mangrove trees stood with their roots spread wide, like giant fingers holding the mud. Frogs croaked from hidden places. Insects hummed. A canoe would knock gently against a wooden post, talk, as if the river was tapping to remind the village it was still there. The huts in Aquagua sat on raised roots and short stilts to avoid the floodwater. Their roofs were made of brown thatch that glittered with morning dew. Smoke rose from cooking fires, thin and lazy, curling into the air. Women swept the paths with palm brooms. Children ran barefoot, leaving small prints in wet mud. Men checked fishing nets and spoke in low voices. And on most days, if you listened closely, you would hear people mention the same name again and again. Mama F. Ah, Mama F has hands of blessing, one woman would say. She is not just a midwife, another would whisper. Her hands know where a child's destiny is hiding. The women of Aquagua said it like it was normal. Like destiny was something you could hold the way you held a calabash. Even strangers who came from far villages knew the story. If a woman had a hard pregnancy, if her labor pains lasted too long, if the baby refused to turn, if blood came too early, they would carry her to Mama F's hut by the swamp edge. And many times, Mama F would save them. That is why people called her a miracle. Her hut stood close to the waterline, where the reeds were thick and the mangrove roots twisted like ropes. In front of her hut, things looked clean and calm. A small lantern sometimes still glowed in the morning, like a tired firefly. Bundles of herbs hung neatly from a wooden beam. Cowrie shells were tied in strings along the doorway, clicking softly when the wind touched them. Mama F herself was not tall, but she stood like someone who had never been afraid of anything. Her skin was deep brown and strong, her arms thick from years of work. Her face had lines, deep ones, like dried river paths. Her cheekbones were sharp. Her eyes were knowing. She always wore indigo, a dyer wrapper and blouse, and her hair was always covered with a dark indigo headscarf. Her wrists carried copper and cowrie bracelets that made a small sound when she moved. And at her waist, a small leather pouch hung on a cord. People said that pouch was full of herbs. People also said it was full of something else. But in Aquagua, when something brings help, people try not to ask too many questions. That morning, Mama F was already outside her hut, washing her hands in a calabash bowl. The water was clear. She rubbed her palms slowly, like she was thinking. A young woman approached, carrying a baby wrapped in faded cloth. The woman's name was Saad. She was not from far. She was from Aquagua itself. Only 2 days ago, she had screamed through the night in labor, and everyone had feared she would die. But she had survived. The baby had survived too. Now Saad walked carefully, as if she was afraid to step on something invisible. Mama F looked up and smiled. "My child," Mama F said warmly. "You should be resting." Saad stopped in front of her. Her eyes looked tired. Her lips tried to form a smile, but it was a small one that didn't reach her cheeks. "I came to thank you," Saad said. Mama F nodded and reached to touch the baby's forehead gently. The baby blinked and made a soft sound. "Strong child," Mama F said. "Your son will live." Saad hugged the baby closer and lowered her voice. Mama, why do I feel quiet? Mama F's smile did not move. Only her eyes changed a little. Quiet. Mama F repeated, as if she did not understand. Saad stared at the ground. Before. I used to sing when I washed clothes. I used to laugh easily. Now. I look at the river and I feel like something is calling my name. But I don't know what. Mama F rinsed her hands again. Childbirth changes a woman, she said simply. Go home. Eat soup. Sleep. Your joy will return. Saad nodded, but she still looked uncertain. Then an older neighbor woman, Auntie Neka, came walking by and noticed Saad. Saad. Ah. You are strong. Auntie Neka said loudly. We feared for you. Saad looked up quickly, like she had been pulled out of deep water. Yes, she answered. Auntie Neka smiled wide and moved closer to admire the baby. God has done it. Mama F has done it. We thank the spirits of our land. This child will be great. Saada's face stayed blank for a second too long. Auntie Neka's smile slowly reduced. Saad, are you not happy? Saad blinked and forced a smile again. I am happy, she said. But her voice sounded like someone repeating a line she had been taught. Mama F stepped in quickly, her tone smooth. She is tired, Mama F said. Let her go. Auntie Neka nodded slowly and walked away. Saad turned to leave too. As she walked, she glanced once toward the swamp water. Her eyes stayed on it for a moment, like she was listening for something. Mama F watched her until she disappeared down the path. Then Mama F picked up her bowl and went back inside her hut. By late afternoon, the mist had lifted a little, but the swamp air still felt heavy. That was the time when the village saw a stranger walking in. She was young. Her wrapper was simple and faded. Her feet were dusty. She carried a small cloth bag on her shoulder, and her belly was big, very big, round and heavy like a calabash filled to the brim. She walked slowly, stopping sometimes to breathe. Whispers followed her before she even spoke. Who is she? She is pregnant. Where is her husband? She has no husband, look at her. Maybe she came from the city. No, city girls don't wear wrapper like that. The young woman's name was Kamsi. She kept her eyes down as she walked, but she could still feel the stares. She could still hear the judging tongues. A small boy ran ahead of her and shouted, Mama F. Mama F. Someone has come. Mama F came out of her hut like she had been waiting. When Mama F saw Kamsi, her face softened into a smile so gentle it almost looked sweet. But Kamsi felt cold anyway. Because the smile was too quick. Too ready. Like Mama F had practiced it. My daughter, Mama F said kindly, stepping forward. Come. Sit. You look tired. Kamsi's throat was tight. Good afternoon, Mama. Mama F guided her to a low stool near the doorway. The air around the hut smelled like herbs and smoke and wet wood. What is your name? Mama F asked. Kamsi, she said quietly. And where are you coming from? From a smaller village upriver, Kamsi answered. Her hands rested over her belly as if she was afraid it would fall. Mama F's eyes dropped to the belly. Then Mama F's face changed for one small moment, so small that most people would miss it. It was not fear. It was not surprise. It looked like recognition. Mama F placed her palm gently on Kamsi's belly. Kamsi flinched. Mama F's hand stayed there a second longer than normal. Then Mama F nodded slowly, as if she had heard something through the skin. A difficult child, Mama F murmured. Kamsi swallowed. They told me you can help. Mama F smiled again. I help all women who come to me. Kamsi's voice shook. I have no husband. A few women standing nearby gasped softly. Someone hissed through their teeth. Mama F turned her head slightly and looked at the women watching. Her eyes were calm but sharp. Go and fetch water, Mama F said, not raising her voice. The women quickly scattered, pretending they had not been listening. Mama F turned back to Kamsi, her voice gentle again. Do not fear the mouths of people, she said. A mouth can talk, but it cannot carry a child. Kamsi's eyes filled with tears. Mama F leaned closer. Tell me, she said softly. How did this pregnancy begin? Kamsi hesitated. Mama F waited patiently, like a hunter who knows the animal will come out of the bush when it gets tired. Kamsi finally whispered, I met someone by the river. Mama F's smile froze. Kamsi continued quickly, like she was rushing to pour out a secret before courage left her. He was beautiful. His voice was gentle. His skin was cool when he touched my hand. And he smelled like rain, like fresh rain on hot ground. Mama F's eyes narrowed slightly. Kamsi looked down. He spoke like he knew me. He spoke of futures. He said futures flow like river currents. He said some futures are strong, and some are weak, and some can be moved. Mama F did not blink. Kamsi's voice became smaller. Then he stood up and walked away. I ran after him. But, Mama, there were no footprints. The sand was wet, but it was smooth. Like nobody walked there. The air around the hut seemed to tighten. Even the insects sounded quieter. Mama F's mouth moved into a smile again, but the smile did not look sweet now. It looked like a mask. My daughter, Mama F said slowly, the river plays tricks. Men play tricks too. Kamsi lifted her eyes. Was he human? Mama F's bracelets clicked softly as she stood up. We will talk later, she said. For now, you will stay here. You will rest. You will eat. I will watch you. Kamsi nodded, though her stomach turned. That night, Mama F gave Kamsi a mat inside the hut. The room was dim and warm, lit by one oil lamp. Shadows danced on the walls. Herbs hung above, swaying slightly. Kamsi lay on her side, trying to sleep, but the air felt heavy. Then she noticed something strange. A faint light. It was coming from her own belly. Not bright like fire. Not sharp like lightning. It was soft, like the glow of the moon when clouds cover it. Kamsi's breath caught in her throat. She touched her belly with trembling fingers. The glow stayed. And beneath her palm, she felt something else. A heartbeat. But it did not sound like a normal heartbeat. It sounded like plap, plap, plap. Like water striking wood. Like a canoe paddle hitting the river in slow rhythm. Kamsi squeezed her eyes shut. She tried to pray. Then she heard it. A sound inside the hut. Not a voice. Not a footstep. A soft, steady sound. Drip, drip, drip. Kamsi opened her eyes wide. She looked up at the roof. There was no hole. No rain. No leak. But the sound continued, slow and patient, like someone counting. And in the corner of the hut, Mama F sat quietly in the dark, watching Kamsi without blinking, as if she had been there the whole time. Kamsi's mouth went dry. Mama, she whispered. Mama F's voice came softly, almost like a lullaby. Sleep, my daughter, she said. Tomorrow, we begin. Morning came to Aquagua the way it always did, slow, damp, and quiet. Mist still hung over the swamp water like thin cloth. The mangrove roots looked darker in the early light, and the reeds moved gently as if they were whispering to each other. Birds called once or twice, then stopped. Even the frogs sounded tired. Inside Mama F's hut, Kamsi woke with a small start. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered the glow. She lifted the edge of her wrapper and stared at her belly. In the morning light, it looked normal. No glow. No strange shine. But when she placed her palm on it, she still felt that slow, wet rhythm. Plap, plap, plap. It was not a strong pounding like a drum. It was a soft tapping like water touching wood. Kamsi swallowed hard and sat up. Across the hut, Mama F was already awake. She sat on a low stool, grinding herbs with a pestle and mortar. Her bracelets clicked softly. Her face was calm, like nothing strange happened the night before. "You are awake," Mama F said without looking up. Kamsi nodded. "Yes, Mama." Mama F scooped the crushed herbs into a small bowl. "Eat first," she said. "Then you will bathe. Then I will check you." Kamsi hesitated. "Mama, last night I heard dripping." Mama F paused for the smallest moment. Then she continued grinding like she did not care. "Old huts drip sometimes," Mama F said simply. "This one sits close to water." "But I looked," Kamsi began. Mama F lifted her eyes. They were not angry. But they were sharp, like the tip of a knife. "Kamsi," Mama F said in a soft voice, "when you are in labor, do you argue with the person helping you breathe?" Kamsi's mouth closed. "No, Mama." Mama F nodded once and went back to her work. "Then eat." Kamsi ate the warm soup Mama F gave her. It tasted bitter under the salt, like leaves that were strong medicine. When she finished, Mama F brought a calabash of water and poured it carefully over Kamsi's head outside, behind a small cloth screen. The water was cold, and Kamsi shivered. As she wiped her arms, she noticed something. The front of Mama F's compound looked clean and normal, like a place where women came to be saved. But the air behind the hut felt different. Colder. Heavier. It smelled like wet stones left under water for a long time. Kamsi tried not to look too much, but her eyes kept moving that way. Mama F noticed. "Do not wander," Mama F said, her voice still calm. "A pregnant woman should not walk too far." Kamsi forced a small smile. "Yes, Mama." When Mama F finished checking her belly, she pressed her ear against it as if she was listening. Her face stayed still, but her eyes narrowed. Then she sat back. "This child is stubborn," Mama F said. Kamsi's throat tightened. "Will I die?" Mama F clicked her tongue. "Do you see the women who came before you? Many screamed. Many bled. Many thought they would die. But they went home." Kamsi remembered Sada's empty voice and felt her stomach twist. Mama F continued, "You will also go home." Kamsi nodded, but her heart was not calm. Later that day, people came and went. Some came to greet Mama F with gifts, small yams, dried fish, a bundle of firewood. A man brought a goat rope tied by the legs. "Mama F," he said happily. "For saving my wife." Mama F smiled like a kind grandmother. "Go in peace," she told him. Kamsi watched quietly from the doorway. Then she noticed something else. Behind Mama F's hut, a new goat was already tied to a post. But not only one goat. 2 goats. And the rope looked fresh, like it had just been bought. Kamsi looked at the hut roof. Some parts of the thatch looked newer than the rest. Like someone repaired it recently. She looked at Mama F's wrapper. The indigo cloth was still faded, but Mama F wore bright copper bracelets that looked heavy. They shone when light touched them. Kamsi had seen women in villages wear 1 bracelet. 2, if they were lucky. Mama F had many. That evening, as the sun lowered and the air became orange near the treetops, two women stopped near Mama F's compound and began to talk. They did not know Kamsi was listening. "That Mama F," one said, shaking her head. "Her money is strong." "She did not have all this before," the other replied. "Look at the goats. Look at her wrapper. Look at her roof." The first woman leaned closer and whispered, "They say she has medicine money." The second woman's eyes widened. Don't say that loudly." "But is it not true?" the first woman insisted. "Where else will the money come from? How can someone repair a hut overnight?" The second woman lowered her voice. "My cousin said she saw Mama F behind the hut at midnight. She said Mama F was talking to the swamp like it was a person." The first woman crossed herself quickly. "May my mouth not bring trouble." Then both women noticed Mama F standing behind them. Mama F's smile was polite, but it did not reach her eyes. "My daughters," Mama F said sweetly, "are you buying gossip in the market today?" The two women stiffened. "No, Mama," they said quickly. Mama F laughed softly. "Let your mouths rest. The river pays those who feed it early." The two women nodded fast and hurried away. Kamsi felt cold all over. The river pays those who feed it early. The words sounded like a joke. But Mama F did not say it like a joke. She said it like a truth. That night, Kamsi could not sleep. Mama F had given her more bitter soup and told her to rest. But Kamsi's mind was walking. She kept thinking of Sada's quiet face. She kept thinking of the mirror that might be behind the hut. She kept thinking of the rivermen with no footprints. And the most frightening part was this. Mama F did not look surprised when Kamsi spoke of him. Mama F looked like she already knew. Around midnight, the hut became very silent. The oil lamp was low. Mama F lay on a mat, her back turned. Kamsi listened. Then she heard a sound. Soft. Far. Like someone rubbing stones together. Kamsi held her breath. The sound came again. And then, a voice. Not loud. Not clear. A whispering chant, like words being chewed slowly. Kamsi sat up. Mama F's back still faced her. Was Mama F sleeping? Kamsi's heart pounded. The chant was coming from outside. From behind the hut. Kamsi swallowed and stood up slowly, careful not to make noise. She stepped out of the hut. The night air was cold and wet. Mist touched her face. The swamp smelled like mud and leaves and something old. Kamsi moved around the side of the hut, stepping carefully over roots. The back of Mama F's compound was darker. No lantern light reached there. Only moonlight. And the moonlight looked thin, like it was afraid to enter. Then Kamsi saw it. A small clearing behind the hut. In the center of it, stacks of river stones were piled neatly in little towers, one stone on another stone on another stone, like someone counting debts in silence. Copper bracelets lay on a mat, dark and old, like they had been in water for years. Bundles of herbs hung from a branch. And there, planted between mangrove roots, was a large oval shape. A clay mirror. It was not shiny like glass. It looked like fired earth, with a frame of carved wood and cowrie shells. And its surface. Kamsi's throat tightened. Its surface moved. It did not reflect the trees. It did not reflect the moon. It swirled like water spinning in a pot. Slow circles. And the mist around it was being pulled inward, like the mirror was breathing. Mama F stood in front of it. Her indigo wrapper looked almost black in the night. She held her hands out as if she was offering something. And she was chanting. Kamsi could not understand the words. But she understood the feeling. It was not a prayer that asked for help. It was a prayer that commanded. Mama F lifted a small calabash bowl and poured something on the ground. The liquid sparkled for a second, then vanished into the mud like it was swallowed. The mirror's swirl sped up. Kamsi's belly tightened. A sharp pain passed through her. She gasped softly. Mama F froze. Her head turned slowly. Kamsi stepped back into shadow quickly, pressing a hand to her mouth. Mama F stared into the darkness where Kamsi stood. For a long moment, Mama F did not move. Then Mama F spoke, her voice low. "Go back to sleep," she said. Kamsi's blood ran cold. Mama F had not even seen her clearly. But Mama F knew. Kamsi turned and hurried back to the hut, her feet slipping in mud. She climbed onto her mat, shaking. Mama F entered a few minutes later. She walked softly. She lay down again with her back turned. But Kamsi could not sleep. In her mind, she kept seeing the mirrors swirl. She kept hearing Mama F's chant. And one thought kept growing bigger and bigger. If Mama F can save births, what exactly is she doing behind her hut? Near dawn, when the air became a lighter gray and the village began to wake again, Kamsi finally drifted into a weak sleep. But it did not last long. A woman's voice outside woke her. "Kamsi." Kamsi sat up, startled. Auntie Neka stood at the doorway, peeking in. Mama F was outside, washing herbs. Auntie Neka stepped inside quietly and lowered her voice. "You are the new pregnant girl," Auntie Neka whispered. "I brought you food." Kamsi took the wrapped bundle with trembling hands. "Thank you." Auntie Neka leaned closer. Her eyes were full of warning. "Listen," Auntie Neka said. "People are talking. They say Mama F is good, yes, but they say something is wrong. Women come back alive, but not the same." Kamsi's mouth went dry. "What do you mean?" Auntie Neka's voice dropped to almost nothing. "My sister's daughter delivered here last month," she whispered. "She survived. But she stopped singing. She stopped laughing. She said she felt like her heart was empty." Kamsi felt tears sting her eyes. Auntie Neka squeezed her hand. "If you see anything strange, if you feel anything strange, run to the old Dibia. His name is Nuru. He lives by the big tree near the market ground." Kamsi nodded slowly. Auntie Neka stood up quickly, as if she was afraid the air itself would report her. Then she left. Kamsi held the food bundle in her lap, staring at it without seeing it. Her belly gave one slow, wet beat. Plap, plap. Kamsi whispered to herself, "Mama, what did you give me this child for?" And as if her late mother heard her, a memory rose in her mind, clear like water. Her mother, sitting under a tree years ago, holding a small gourd in her hands. Her mother's voice, soft but serious. "If the river ever calls your name, Kamsi, use this. Do not ask why. Just use it." Kamsi blinked. She did not have that gourd with her. Or did she? Her cloth bag sat near the wall. Kamsi grabbed it quickly and opened it with shaking fingers. Inside, beneath her only extra wrapper and a small comb, was a tiny gourd wrapped in twine. Kamsi's breath caught. She had packed it without thinking, the way you pack a thing you cannot explain. She held the gourd close. It felt cool in her palm. Kamsi looked toward the back of the hut, the direction of the shrine. Her heart whispered a question she did not want to ask. What if the mirror is holding more than reflections? And as if the swamp was listening, a faint sound drifted in from behind the hut. A soft wet swirl. Like water turning in a pot. Like something waiting for night again. That day, Kamsi tried to act normal. She helped Mama F wash cloth. She swept the front of the hut. She fetched water from the safe well in the village, not from the swamp. She even forced herself to eat the bitter soup without making a face. But inside her chest, her heart was running. Because now she had two things she could not forget. The mirror behind the hut that did not reflect trees. And the small gourd of sacred river clay in her bag, her mother's last warning. Every time Mama F turned her back, Kamsi's eyes moved to the path leading behind the hut. Every time the wind blew, and the cowrie shells on the doorway clicked, Kamsi felt like the sound was spelling her name. Mama F watched her all day. Not in a loud way. In a quiet way. Like a cat watching a mouse pretend to sleep. In the afternoon, two pregnant women came to the hut together. One was older, her belly round and low. The other was younger, with fear in her eyes. Mama F greeted them warmly, like she was their aunt. "My daughters, sit," Mama F said. "Drink water. Your journey was long." Kamsi stood nearby, pretending to fold cloth. The older pregnant woman smiled. "Mama F, you are truly blessed. I came because they said you saved Saad." Mama F's smile stayed on her face like a painted mark. "Saad is alive," Mama F said. The younger woman spoke in a small voice. "Mama, people also said, some women return quiet." The older woman quickly elbowed her. But Mama F only laughed softly. "My children," Mama F said, "when a woman gives birth, her body is tired. Her spirit is tired. Is it quietness or tiredness? Do not fear shadows. Fear only foolishness." The older woman nodded quickly, relieved. "Yes, Mama." But the younger woman's eyes drifted toward Kamsi, as if asking her something without words. Kamsi looked away. She did not want Mama F to see any connection. Mama F checked both women and sent them away with herbs. When they left, Mama F turned toward Kamsi. "You have been staring too much," Mama F said. Kamsi's heart jumped. Staring. Mama F's eyes were calm. A pregnant woman should keep her mind quiet. Kamsi forced a smile. "I was only tired, Mama." Mama F stepped closer. "Tiredness makes the tongue loose," Mama F said softly. "And a loose tongue can invite trouble." Kamsi's mouth went dry. Mama F tilted her head slightly. "Did you dream last night?" Kamsi hesitated. "No, Mama." Mama F smiled again. "Good. Because some dreams are not dreams. They are visitors." Kamsi's skin prickled. Mama F turned away as if the matter was finished. "Cook water," she said. "Your labor will come soon." That night, Kamsi waited. She did not move until Mama F lay down. The oil lamp burned low. The hut smelled of herbs, warm wood, and damp air. Mama F's breathing became slow. Kamsi lay still too. She listened. Outside, frogs croaked once, then stopped. Mist pressed against the hut walls like soft hands. Then Kamsi heard it again. That slow wet sound from behind the hut. A swirl. Like water turning in a pot. Kamsi's belly tightened. A small pain ran through her, sharp and quick, like a warning poke. She reached for her bag slowly and pulled it close. Her fingers found the tiny gourd wrapped in twine. She held it. It was cool. She whispered, "Mama, if you are watching me, help me." Kamsi waited for Mama F to move. Nothing. Mama F stayed still. Kamsi sat up carefully and slipped out of the hut like a shadow. The night air was colder than she expected. It smelled of wet mud, crushed leaves, and something sharp, like metal. She moved along the side of the hut, careful with her feet. The swamp water nearby was dark. It made quiet sounds, like it was breathing. When Kamsi reached behind the hut, she stopped. The shrine area looked even stranger at night. The stacks of river stones were neatly arranged, some taller than Kamsi's knee. They looked like someone counted them one by one. Copper bracelets lay in a row, dark and heavy, like they had been buried. And the clay mirror stood between roots like an old doorway. Its surface swirled slowly, pulling mist inward. Kamsi's heart beat hard. She took a step closer. The mirror's glow grew slightly brighter, cyan green under the moonlight. Kamsi swallowed. She did not want to look. But she had to. She leaned forward and stared into the mirror. At first, she saw only moving water, ripples and slow circles. Then shapes appeared. Not her shape. Not her face. Kamsi's breath caught. She saw women inside. 2, 3, then more as the swirl shifted. They looked like African maiden spirits, thin and tired, like they had been hungry for a long time. Their cheeks were hollow. Their eyes were big and wet. Some had worn tunics that floated like cloth in water, frayed at the edges. One had a ragged headscarf, tied tight. Another had rough braids that drifted around her face. They pressed their hands against the inside of the mirror, palms flat. Their mouths opened. No sound came out. But Kamsi could tell they were crying. Tears floated away like tiny bubbles. Their eyes begged. One of them moved her lips slowly, like she was trying to speak a name. Kamsi leaned closer, trembling. The spirit's lips formed a word. Kamsi could not hear it, but she could read it. Help. Kamsi's knees went weak. She stumbled back, almost falling into the mud. Her hand tightened around the little gourd. The spirit's hands pressed harder, as if the mirror was a wall they could finally touch. Their faces were full of sorrow, not anger. They looked like people trapped in a place that had no sun. Kamsi whispered, "Who are you? What did Mama F do to you?" The mirror's swirl sped up slightly. One spirit shook her head, crying harder. Another spirit lifted her hand and pointed, past Kamsi, toward the hut. Kamsi's throat closed. She understood. The spirits were warning her. A sound came from the swamp water, shhhhhh, like something sliding beneath the surface. Kamsi's belly gave one slow wet beat. Plap, plap. Kamsi forced herself to breathe. She remembered her mother's words. If the river ever calls your name, use this. Kamsi looked at the mirror rim. It had symbols scratched into clay, spirals and lines and small marks that looked like fish bones. Kamsi did not understand them. But she knew they mattered. Her fingers worked quickly. She untied the twine on the gourd. The smell that came out was sharp and earthy, like deep riverbank mud mixed with smoke. Inside was dark clay paste. Kamsi dipped 2 fingers into it. It was cold at first. Then it warmed slightly, as if it was alive. Kamsi's hands shook. "I'm sorry," she whispered to the spirits. "I don't know what I'm doing." One spirit pressed her face close to the water glass. Her tears ran fast. Kamsi lifted her fingers and smeared the clay along the mirror rim. She drew a rough line. Then another. She broke one of the symbols, crossing over it like her mother once crossed a bad sign on the ground. The moment the clay touched the rim, it became hot. Kamsi jerked her hand back. The clay sizzled faintly, like it was frying on a pan. A thin smoke rose. The mirror's glow flickered. The swirl shook as if the mirror was angry. The spirits inside widened their eyes. Then, crack! A tiny line appeared on the mirror surface. Not a big crack. A small one. Like a hairline on dry ground. Kamsi's mouth opened in shock. The spirits looked hopeful and terrified at the same time. Kamsi whispered, "It worked." But before she could move again, she heard a sound behind her. A footstep in mud. Slow. heavy. Kamsi froze. A familiar voice spoke from the darkness. "What are you doing?" Kamsi turned slowly. Mama F stood near the hut wall, partly hidden by shadow. Her face was calm. But her eyes were not. They were sharp and cold, like river stones. Kamsi's body shook. She tried to hide her clay-stained fingers behind her wrapper. Mama," Kamsi stammered. Mama F stepped closer. Her bracelets clicked. Kamsi felt trapped between the mirror and Mama F. Mama F looked at the mirror rim. She saw the clay. She saw the smoke. She saw the tiny crack. For a moment, Mama F's face changed. Not fear. Not surprise. Anger. But she swallowed it quickly and smiled, slow and forced. "My daughter," Mama F said softly, "this place is not for you." Kamsi tried to speak. "I saw." Mama F raised her hand. "You saw nothing," Mama F said, still soft. "The night can make eyes see lies." Kamsi's throat burned. "But there are women." Mama F's voice snapped, sharp now. "Enough." The spirits inside the mirror pressed back again, crying harder, their hands smearing against the watery surface. Kamsi felt tears in her own eyes. Mama F leaned close to Kamsi's face. Her breath smelled like bitter leaves. "If you want to live," Mama F whispered, "you will stop digging into things you cannot carry." Kamsi's lips trembled. Why are they inside there?" Mama F straightened and looked at the swamp as if the answer was simple. "The river takes what it is owed," Mama F said quietly. "And it gives what it wants." Kamsi's heart hammered. "And my baby?" Mama F turned back to her, eyes dark. "Your baby will be born," Mama F said. "That is all you need to know." Kamsi stepped back. "No, Mama. I won't." Mama F smiled again, but it was not kind. "You will," she said. "Because you have nowhere else." Kamsi swallowed. Then she remembered Auntie Neka's warning. "Run to the old Dibia. His name is Nuru." Kamsi's legs moved before her mind could stop them. She turned and ran. Not fast like a child. Fast like a frightened animal, careful not to slip. Her belly pulled at her. Mud splashed her legs. Mama F shouted behind her, "Kamsi!" But Kamsi did not stop. She ran through the path between huts, through mist and darkness, past sleeping goats and quiet fires. Her lungs burned. Her eyes stung with tears. Finally, she reached the market ground where the big tree stood. Under the tree was a small hut made of woven palm and old wood. Strange symbols were chalked on the posts. A bundle of dried herbs hung near the doorway. Kamsi banged on the door with shaking hands. "Please," she cried. "Please open." A low voice answered from inside. "Who knocks at night?" "Kamsi," she said quickly. "I need Dibia Nuru. Please." There was a pause. Then the door opened. An old man stood there. He was thin but steady, with dark warm brown skin and a face full of lines. His eyes were deep and calm, like someone who had watched many storms. His locks were gray-black, tied back with raffia. Beads and cowries hung around his neck. In his hand was a carved staff with a small gourd rattle. He stared at Kamsi's clay-stained fingers. Then he stared at her belly. His expression changed slightly, not fear, not shock, recognition. He stepped aside. "Enter," he said. Kamsi stumbled inside, breathing hard. The old man closed the door. He spoke quietly, like someone speaking to a frightened child. "My daughter," he said, "tell me what you touched." Kamsi swallowed and whispered, "A mirror that doesn't show faces." The old man's grip tightened on his staff. Outside, in the distance, the swamp made a low sound, like something big shifting underwater. The old man's voice dropped even lower. "Then you have stepped into a debt," he said. "And debts do not like to be disturbed." Kamsi sat on the floor of Dibia Nuru's hut, her back against a wooden post. Her chest rose and fell fast. The air inside smelled of dry leaves, smoke, and old earth. A small oil lamp burned near the wall, making shadows jump softly like nervous animals. Dibia Nuru did not rush her. He watched her the way a river watches a leaf, quietly but with full attention. "Breathe," he said gently. "Slow. In and out." Kamsi tried. Her throat still felt tight, but she forced air into her lungs. After some moments, her shaking eased a little. Dibia Nuru sat on a low stool and placed his carved staff beside him. The little gourd rattle on top made a soft sound when it touched the ground. "You said the mirror did not show your face," he said. Kamsi nodded quickly. "It showed women. Many women. They were thin. They were crying. They pressed their hands like they wanted to climb out." Dibia Nuru closed his eyes for a short moment, like he was listening to a memory. Then he opened them again. "And you used clay." Kamsi looked down at her fingers. Dark stains still clung to her skin. "Yes," she whispered. "My mother gave it to me long ago. She said, if the river calls my name, I should use it." Dibia Nuru's eyes softened. "Your mother was wise." Kamsi swallowed. "Mama F caught me. She was angry. She said the river takes what it is owed." Dibia Nuru's face became hard again, like a stone. "It is true," he said slowly. "The river takes what it is owed. But there is a difference between the river taking and a human feeding the river." Kamsi leaned forward. "Please, Baba Nuru, tell me the truth. What is Mama F doing?" Dibia Nuru reached for a small calabash bowl near him. Inside it was white chalk powder. He dipped 2 fingers into it and drew a simple circle on the floor. "This," he said, tapping the circle, "is a child." Then he drew a second circle beside it. "This is the child's future," he said. "The things the child is meant to become." Kamsi stared at the marks, trying to understand. Dibia Nuru drew a line from the first circle to the second. "When a baby takes its first breath," he explained, "the line becomes strong. It locks. It becomes hard like rope." He snapped his fingers softly. "Locked." Kamsi nodded slowly. "But before first breath," Dibia Nuru continued, "the line is soft. It is like wet thread. It can be pulled." He used his finger to smear the chalk line a little. Kamsi's stomach turned. Dibia Nuru looked at her with serious eyes. "Some people learn to pull it," he said. "To trade it." Kamsi's voice was small. "Trade, a future." "Yes," Dibia Nuru said. "Some water spirits want futures. They do not live like humans. They do not build like humans. So they buy what they cannot grow." Kamsi's hands went to her belly. "And Mama F sells it." Dibia Nuru nodded once. "She keeps the body alive," he said. "She helps the birth succeed. The mother survives. The child survives. But she takes what was promised inside." Kamsi's eyes filled with tears. "That is why women return quiet." Dibia Nuru's voice dropped. "Yes. Some return with life, but without joy. Some return with strength, but without love. Some return with eyes that no longer dream." Kamsi wiped her cheeks quickly. Why would she do such a thing? Dibia Nuru sighed. "Long ago," he said, "Mama F had a child of her own." Kamsi froze. "Mama F? She has a child?" Dibia Nuru shook his head slowly. She had, he corrected. The child died before first breath. Mama F went mad with pain. She cried and begged and sat by the swamp for days. Kamsi whispered, then the river came to her. Dibia Nuru nodded. Yes, he said. The river showed her a path. A dark path. It said, if you feed me early, I will pay you. If you give me what I want, I will give you what you want. Kamsi felt cold all over. She chose it. Kamsi asked. Dibia Nuru's eyes were sad. Pain makes people choose strange things, he said. At first, she may have believed she was only taking from those who deserved it. A woman who insulted her. A woman who cheated another. A woman who laughed at her grief. Kamsi swallowed. But evil does not stay small, Dibia Nuru continued. Once it tastes blood, it wants more. Mama F began to sell futures like yams in the market. Kamsi's belly tightened slightly, like the baby heard and did not like the words. Kamsi whispered, and my baby. Dibia Nuru stared at her belly for a long moment. The riverman you met, he said quietly, was not just a man. Kamsi's lips trembled. I knew. Dibia Nuru leaned forward, his voice low and firm. Your pregnancy carries a debt, he said. A debt Mama F has been building for a long time. Kamsi shook her head. I don't understand. Dibia Nuru pointed to the chalk circle again. When Mama F sells a future, he said, she does not just take one small thing. She takes a piece of a life. Kamsi whispered, like cutting meat from a living goat. Yes, Dibia Nuru said. And every cut must be paid for. He drew small marks around the chalk circles. Each stolen future becomes a stone in a pile. Each deal becomes a rope around her waist. She thinks she is getting rich. But she is also getting heavier. Kamsi swallowed hard. So why has it come to me? Dibia Nuru lifted his staff and tapped the floor twice. Because debts do not return as they were taken, he said. Mama F ignored that warning. She believed she could keep feeding the river and never be eaten. Kamsi's breath shook. What will happen? Dibia Nuru's eyes were calm but dark. On the night you give birth, he said, Mama F will try to trap your child's spirit inside the mirror. Kamsi gasped. She will kill my baby. Dibia Nuru lifted his hand. Listen, he said. Not the body. The spirit. The breath of what the child carries. Kamsi gripped her wrapper. Then what can I do? Dibia Nuru looked at her clay-stained fingers. You already did something, he said. You marked the rim. You broke a symbol. You planted a crack. Kamsi whispered, I saw a crack. Dibia Nuru nodded. That crack is a mouth, he said. Now, the mirror is not fully obedient. Kamsi's eyes widened. So, the trapped women can come out. Dibia Nuru's voice became heavy. If the mirror breaks, yes, he said. But breaking a mirror that holds spirits is like breaking a dam. Water will rush out. Kamsi trembled. Will it hurt me? Dibia Nuru did not lie. It will be chaos, he said. There will be screaming. There will be memories. Some people may faint. Some may run. Kamsi whispered, but the women will be free. Dibia Nuru nodded slowly. Yes. Kamsi lifted her chin a little. Then I want it, she said. I want them free. Dibia Nuru studied her. Then he nodded once, like he approved. You have courage, he said. That is good. You will need it. Kamsi's voice cracked. Baba Nuru, will Mama F hurt me before labor? Dibia Nuru's eyes sharpened. She will try to keep you close, he said. She will watch you like a goat tied near a butcher's table. Kamsi's skin prickled. But she will not kill you yet, Dibia Nuru continued. She needs you alive until the right moment. Kamsi hugged her belly. Then I must go back. Dibia Nuru nodded. Yes, he said. If you run far, she will chase. And the village will think you are mad. They will drag you back and call Mama F a hero. Kamsi whispered, so I must pretend. Yes, Dibia Nuru said. He stood up slowly and walked to a small shelf. He picked up a tiny pouch made from woven cloth. He opened it and poured a little chalk powder into Kamsi's palm. Rub this on your wrists, he said, and behind your ears. Kamsi did as he said. The chalk felt dry and cool. It will not make you invisible, Dibia Nuru warned, but it will help the spirits know you are not their food. Kamsi swallowed. What about the clay? Dibia Nuru looked at the gourd in Kamsi's bag. Keep it, he said. Do not waste it. The mark on the mirror rim is enough for now. Kamsi nodded quickly. Then Dibia Nuru's face changed. He looked like he was listening to something far away. Kamsi also heard it. A distant sound outside, across the village. Not a shout. Not a drum. A long slow hiss, like air passing through wet reeds. Dibia Nuru's eyes narrowed. The river is restless, he said. Kamsi's heart raced. Is Mama F coming? Dibia Nuru lifted his staff and held it close. Go, he said quickly. Go back before the sun rises fully. Move like you only went to ease yourself. Kamsi stood up, shaky but determined. Before she left, she grabbed Dibia Nuru's hand. Baba, she whispered, will my child survive? Dibia Nuru looked at her with an honest face. I believe so, he said. But your child will not be ordinary. Kamsi felt her chest tighten. Why? Dibia Nuru's voice became a soft warning. When many stolen futures are trapped in one place, he said, they begin to smell each other. They begin to move toward each other. They want to return. Kamsi did not fully understand, but the words made her bones feel cold. She nodded anyway. Thank you. Dibia Nuru opened the door and looked outside. The village was still half asleep. Mist drifted between huts. Go, he said again. Kamsi slipped out and began walking back, holding her belly and breathing slowly. She tried to act normal. But every shadow looked like Mama F. Every ripple of water looked like an eye. As she approached Mama F's hut, she saw something that made her stop. Mama F stood outside, not washing herbs, not greeting people. Just standing. Still. Watching the village path like she had been waiting for someone. Mama F's headscarf was tied tight. Her bracelet sat high on her wrists. Her eyes were fixed like a trap. Kamsi forced herself to keep walking. When Mama F saw her, Mama F smiled. But the smile was thin. Ah, Mama F said softly. You like night walks? Kamsi's mouth went dry. Mama. I needed air. The hut was hot. Mama F stepped closer. The smell of bitter leaves surrounded her. Air. Mama F repeated. Or you went to buy stories? Kamsi shook her head quickly. No, Mama. I swear. Mama F tilted her head. Where did you go? Kamsi swallowed and pointed vaguely. Near the market ground. Mama F's eyes flickered for a second. Then she smiled again. You should not wander, Mama F said gently, but her voice had a hard stone inside it. A pregnant woman can fall. And a fall can take a baby. Kamsi's arms tightened around her belly. Mama F reached out and touched Kamsi's cheek with cold fingers. You are under my care, Mama F whispered. Do not forget that. Then Mama F turned and walked into the hut as if nothing happened. Kamsi followed slowly, her legs heavy. Inside, Mama F poured bitter soup into a bowl. "Eat," Mama F said. "You must be strong for labor." Kamsi sat and ate, forcing the soup down. Mama F watched her quietly the whole time. After Kamsi finished, Mama F leaned back and spoke like she was telling a simple village story. "You know," Mama F said, "people think the river only takes. But the river also gives." Kamsi kept her face still. Mama F continued, her tone light. "Sometimes it gives goats. Sometimes it gives money. Sometimes it gives power. It depends on what you feed it." Kamsi's fingers curled under her wrapper. Mama F smiled wider. "And some things are very sweet to the river," she added. "Very sweet." Kamsi's belly gave a slow wet beat. Plap, plap. Mama F's eyes dropped to Kamsi's belly. Then Mama F nodded as if she heard the same thing. "Soon," Mama F whispered, almost to herself. "Very soon." That evening, clouds gathered over Aquagwu. The air grew heavy and still. Even the reeds stopped moving. Kamsi sat near the doorway, pretending to braid a small cord. But her mind was with Dibia Nuru's warning. "She will try to trap your child's spirit inside the mirror." Kamsi's hands shook. A sudden pain rolled across her belly, stronger than before. She gasped softly and grabbed the doorway post. Mama F looked up quickly. Her eyes brightened, not with worry, but with something else. Something hungry. Kamsi tried to breathe. The pain faded, then returned again, like a wave. Mama F stood up slowly, smoothing her wrapper. Her bracelets clicked. "Ah," Mama F said softly, smiling. "It has started." Outside, the swamp made a deep, slow sound, like a giant thing turning in its sleep. And somewhere beyond the reeds, the clay mirror began to pull mist inward harder than before, as if it could taste the night that was coming. The sky over Aquagwu turned the color of wet ash. Clouds sat low, heavy and thick, like they wanted to press the village into the mud. The wind stopped. Even the reeds behind Mama F's hut stood still, as if they were holding their breath. Inside the hut, the oil lamp flame leaned sideways for no reason. Kamsi bent forward and groaned. Another pain rolled through her belly, stronger than before, squeezing her from the inside like a tight rope. "Ah," she cried, gripping the doorway post. Mama F stepped closer, calm and ready, as if she had been waiting for this moment for a long time. "Good," Mama F said softly. "Very good. The child is coming." Kamsi lifted her eyes, tears shining. "Mama, help me. Please." Mama F smiled. "I will help you," she said. "I always help." But Kamsi remembered Sada's empty voice. She remembered the crying women behind the mirror. She remembered Dibia Nuru's chalk circles on the floor. Kamsi's hands shook as she held her belly. Mama F clapped her hands once. "Bring water," she called outside. "Bring cloth." Two village women rushed in, looking scared but obedient. They set down bowls and cloth strips. They didn't ask questions. In Aquagwu, people followed Mama F the way people followed a torch in darkness. Kamsi wanted to shout, "Don't trust her." But the next pain swallowed her words. Mama F guided Kamsi onto the birthing mat. "Lie down," she ordered gently. "Breathe." Kamsi tried to breathe. The air felt thick. Her skin was wet with sweat. Mama F leaned close to one of the women. "Go outside," Mama F whispered. "Tell the men and children to stay away. This birth is not for noise." The woman nodded quickly and ran. Mama F turned back to Kamsi. Her voice was sweet again. "Do you trust me, my daughter?" Kamsi stared at her. For a moment, she almost said yes, because fear can make you grab any hand. But Kamsi thought of the mirror. She swallowed and forced the safest answer. I have no choice, Mama, Kamsi whispered. Mama F's eyes flickered. Then she laughed softly. That is true, she said. You have no choice. Another contraction hit. Kamsi cried out. Mama F stood and began to move around the hut. She placed small calabash bowls in a circle. She sprinkled crushed herbs. She drew chalk lines on the floor, fast and neat, like she had done it many times. Kamsi watched through blurred eyes. Mama, why are you drawing that? Kamsi asked weakly. Mama F did not look at her. It is protection, she said. Kamsi's heart beat hard. She knew it was not protection for her. Mama F reached into her leather charm pouch and pulled out a thin cowrie string. She tied it around her wrist. Then she lifted her hands and began to chant. The words were low. They did not sound like normal speech. The oil lamp flame trembled. Outside, the swamp made a slow deep sound, like something big shifting underwater. Kamsi turned her head toward the back of the hut. She could feel it. The mirror behind the hut was awake. The hut door curtain moved, though no wind blew. Then, drip, drip, drip. The same sound Kamsi heard on her first night. Kamsi's throat tightened. Mama F, please. Mama F's chanting grew stronger. Come, she whispered. Come and sit. Kamsi didn't understand. Mama F looked toward the back, like she was speaking to someone who was not inside the hut. Kamsi's belly glowed faintly beneath her wrapper. A soft moonlight swim. Mama F's eyes shone. Yes, Mama F said, voice excited now. Yes. The river has brought me a rich child. Kamsi felt cold. Another pain rose, bigger than all before. She screamed. Push. Mama F ordered. Kamsi pushed. Her body shook. Tears ran. Again. Mama F said. Kamsi pushed again. The hut seemed to grow smaller. The air felt wet, like the river was inside the room. Then a sound came from outside, like wet cloth tearing. Krrrkk. The hut shook slightly. One of the women helping gasped. Mama, what was that? Mama F's face tightened. Silence, she snapped. Kamsi's eyes widened. A cold light flashed through the doorway, cyan green, like deep water catching moonlight. The women stepped back, frightened. Then the hut door curtain lifted by itself. And Kamsi saw the village outside. Villagers had gathered, forming a ring in the mist. Faces peeking. Hands covering mouths. Some held lanterns, their amber light shaking. At the edge of the crowd stood Dibia Nuru, calm as a tree in storm. Kamsi's heart jumped. Baba Nuru. Kamsi cried weakly. Mama F turned sharply. Her eyes shot fire. What is he doing here? She hissed. Dibia Nuru raised his staff. Let the truth breathe tonight, he said. Mama F laughed, but it sounded forced. Old man, she said, go away. This is women's work. Dibia Nuru's voice stayed steady. This is not birth work, he replied. This is debt work. A murmur moved through the villagers. Mama F's smile cracked. You know nothing, she spat. Dibia Nuru pointed behind the hut. Then show them the mirror. The villagers shifted, confused. Mama F stepped closer to the doorway, blocking the view. There is no mirror, she said quickly. Only herbs. But at that exact moment, the cold cyan green light grew brighter. The whole hut trembled again. Krrrk. A loud crack echoed, like thunder snapping a tree. The sound did not come from the sky. It came from behind the hut. The villagers screamed and stepped back. Kamsi felt her belly tighten violently. Mama F whipped her head toward the back, eyes wide. "No," Mama F whispered. "No, no, no." Then the impossible happened. Water rushed into the hut, not from the floor, not from a bucket, but like the air itself broke. A wave of cold mist and dripping water burst through the back wall as if a hidden river had been waiting behind it. People shrieked. The oil lamp almost died, then flared again. And in the middle of that wet chaos, the clay mirror's voice entered the room. Not a voice like words. A voice like many cries at once. The trapped women. Their sorrow poured into the hut like floodwater. Kamsi turned her head and saw it through the open back gap, the clay mirror, now cracked wide, its swirling surface shaking and leaking. And inside it, faces. African maiden spirits, thin and emaciated, wearing worn tunics, eyes swollen from crying, hands pressed forward as if begging to be pulled out. "Please," one spirit cried, her voice suddenly loud now that the crack was open. "Please. Let us go." Another spirit sobbed, "My life, my life." The villagers froze in horror. Mama F stumbled backward. "No," she screamed. "Stay inside. Stay inside." But the crack widened again. Crock. The mirror shattered like a pot dropped on stone. And the spirits spilled out, not as solid bodies, but as rushing water shadows, wet wind, tears, memory, and pain. They flooded the hut, passing through people like cold rain. Women in the crowd screamed and fell to their knees. Men covered their ears. Some villagers began to cry without knowing why, as if they suddenly remembered something they had forgotten. Saad, standing among them, grabbed her chest and sobbed. "My song," she cried. "My song came back." Auntie Neka covered her mouth. "Chinik," she whispered. Dibia Nuru lifted his staff and spoke over the chaos. "Futures that were stolen," he said, "are returning." Mama F shook her head wildly. "No. They are mine," she shouted. "The river paid me." Dibia Nuru's eyes were hard. "The river did not pay you," he said. "The river lent you." Mama F's mouth opened to curse him. But she never got the words out. Because her stomach tightened. Her eyes went wide. She grabbed her belly with both hands and screamed. "Ah." Everyone turned. Mama F's belly began to swell. Not slowly like pregnancy. Fast. Like something was inflating inside her. The villagers gasped and stepped back. Mama F fell to her knees in the wet mud of the hut floor. Her face twisted in terror. "No, no. I did what you asked," she cried, looking toward the shattered mirror. The cyan green light flickered across her skin. Then the water behind the hut made a deep, heavy splash. Something rose. A head. A monstrous anaconda head, wet and shining, eyes amber and watchful. Its scales were swamp olive and dark jade, with bronze gold markings that shimmered like oil on water. Algae strands hung from its jaw like old weeds. The villagers screamed again. The snake's head lifted higher until it hovered over Mama F like judgment. Then it turned, slowly, and locked its eyes on Kamsi. Kamsi froze, breath stuck. The anaconda did not hiss. It only stared. And Kamsi felt, deep in her bones, that it was not angry at her. It was waiting. Mama F's body convulsed. "Ah," she screamed. "Help me! Help me!" But nobody moved. Mama F had helped many births. Now the village watched her own birth begin. Mama F screamed as something forced its way out of her, not a baby's cry, not a human shape. A thick coil. A living coil of river-scaled anaconda, slick and shining, sliding out like dead-made flesh. The villagers were too shocked to even shout now. Many stood with mouths open. Mama F clawed at the mud, sobbing. "No. Please. I am sorry." Dibia Nuru stepped forward, his voice low and final. "You sold futures," he said. "Now the futures you stole have come back together." Mama F shook her head in panic. "I only wanted to live. I only wanted to stop being poor." Dibia Nuru replied, "You chose to live by eating other people's tomorrow." The anaconda coil wrapped around Mama F's waist. Then around her ankles. Then higher, tightening like a rope with a mind. Mama F screamed one last time. "Kamsi! Help me!" Kamsi's eyes filled with tears, but she did not move. Not because she was cruel. Because she finally understood. Mama F was being carried by the weight she created. The anaconda lifted its head again. Its eyes stayed on Kamsi. Then, as if answering the story of the whole night, it lowered its head slightly, almost like a bow, and turned toward the broken mirror. The coil dragged Mama F backward through the wet mud. Mama F fought, but she was weak, like a fish caught in a net. She was pulled toward the shattered mirror space. The mirror's broken rim still glowed. The water behind it swirled like a doorway trying to close. Mama F screamed, "No. No." And then she was gone, pulled into the wet world behind the mirror like a stone sinking into water. The cyan green glow dimmed. The cold mist relaxed. The swamp behind the hut became quiet again. For a moment, nobody moved. Only Kamsi's breathing could be heard. Then Kamsi cried out again. Because her labor had not stopped. "Baba Nuru," she begged. "Please." Dibia Nuru rushed to her side. "Breathe," he said. "You are safe now. Push, my daughter." Kamsi grabbed his arm. Another contraction rose. She pushed with everything she had left. Her voice broke into a cry. And then, at last, the baby came. A small human boy. No scales. No snake tail. No monster. Just a quiet newborn, wet and trembling, breathing deeply. One breath. Then another. Then a soft cry. The villagers exhaled like they had been holding their breath for years. Dibia Nuru lifted the baby carefully and placed him in Kamsi's arms. Kamsi hugged him to her chest, sobbing. "My son," she whispered. "My son." The baby calmed quickly, eyes half open. His gaze looked deeper than a normal newborn's gaze, calm, watchful, as if he had listened to many stories inside the dark. But he was human. He was alive. Kamsi kissed his forehead. Outside, the freed women's spirits, those watery shadows, hovered near the swamp edge for a moment like mist shaped into people. Their faces looked peaceful now. One spirit looked toward Kamsi and smiled faintly through tears. Then, slowly, the spirits rose like morning fog and melted into the air, as if they were finally allowed to rest. Saad, still crying, began to hum. A simple village song. Her voice shook at first, then grew steady. Auntie Neka joined her. Then another woman. Then another. The song spread through the crowd like warm fire. Kamsi listened and cried harder, because the sound felt like healing. Dibia Nuru stood and faced the villagers. "People of Akwagwu," he said, "let this night teach you." The villagers fell silent. He raised his staff and spoke slowly so everyone, even the children, could understand. "Do not be fooled by a miracle that has a hidden price," he said. "Some gifts are not gifts. They are traps." He pointed toward the swamp. "If someone gets rich too fast," he continued, "ask what they fed the river. Because the river never eats nothing." The villagers nodded, frightened but listening. Dibia Nuru looked at Kamsi. This girl was poor, he said. But she chose truth over fear. She chose courage over silence. That is why she is alive. Then he turned to the crowd again. And remember this, he finished. If you steal someone's future, the debt will return. And it will return bigger. As dawn crept in, the sky slowly lightened. The heavy clouds began to break. A pale morning sun touched the tops of the mangrove trees. Kamsi stepped outside with her baby wrapped tight against her chest. She looked toward where Mama F's hut had been. The hut was still there, but it looked wrong. The back area was flooded deeper. Reeds had already begun to creep into the space, as if the swamp was claiming it. Dibia Nuru watched quietly beside her. It will disappear, he said softly. Water removes what water rejects. Kamsi nodded slowly. She looked down at her baby. The boy blinked up at her, calm and breathing steady. Kamsi whispered, "You will grow with a clean future. I will not sell you. I will not trade you. I will protect you." The baby made a small sound, like a promise. And the village of Aquagua stood behind her, quiet, changed, but awake. Because everyone now knew. Not every smiling helper is safe. Not every miracle is pure. And greed can turn a healer into a monster. Moral lesson. If you use dark magic to steal from others, the debt will always return, sometimes in a way you can't survive. Choose honesty, choose courage, and never trade someone's future for your own comfort. If you enjoyed this story and want more African folktale fantasies with mystery, dark magic, and justice, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.